The vac tan was done yesterday, and I'll turn the camera around. It's looking pretty good. There we go. It's all down. Looking like it's worked. So I'm going to go over it with some metal primer. That's my job for today. And if I've got time, I'll get out there and get some vinegar over these bricks. The floor's done. Just gonna need to prime it tomorrow. I ran out of red oxide on the last section, so I had to buy some more. I mean, I need some more anyway for the galley, but I got to the end, I was like, oh my life. So luckily, with it being midweek, the chandlery is open, and I've managed to get me a tin of what's the matter with the dogs? Oh. I managed to get a tin. I can't be bothered to do the vinegar now. It's raining outside. When I say vinegar, the vinegar, I mean just dip bricks in vinegar. I can't be bothered today. I ended up staying. Oh, just mad I am. Work mad. So I managed to get that batch of bricks done. And all of those. So at the moment, let's turn this round. So at the moment then, I've still got this. Oh, is that? Hello. Hello. And here's Dixie Poo. Hello, Dixie Poo. Hello, little buddies. And I've got the batch behind the dogs. So that's it really. I can't do any more. I've run out of vinegar, otherwise I'd have just carried on. So if you want to clean bricks on your front yard, around your house, or you're doing the stupid thing that I'm doing and taking all the ballast out your boat, then I got this from Amazon, Golden Swan white vinegar. I think. Right, I've painted the base plate now with the enamel. It is nice and green. That looks good, doesn't it? Yeah. Second part of the boat done. Pretty impressed with that. It's gone down nicely. I'm pretty tired though today. Yeah, I didn't really have much motivation to do it, but I got there in the end. It was a bit hard work. It's quite hard to brush in actually, that enamel on the red oxide. It takes some work, but it looks so good after. So, as I managed to put vinegar on most of the blocks yesterday, well, the dogs are going crazy. As I've put vinegar in over all of the blocks yesterday, all the blocks in the vinegar, so to speak, I can bring most of them back on. So that's what I'm going to do when this is dry, hopefully tomorrow. What I'm planning on doing is maybe cutting that partition, taking all the steps out and getting to the calorifier. So we've got to strip the floor out underneath, which on this side won't be too bad, but this side I'm going to have to take the calorifier out. Hopefully that's not too much hard work. Get to the underneath and do the same as what we've done over there. They said to us the last 4 metres of the boat was the one that had the most pitting on the base plate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, so I'd like to get as much of this done as possible, so I know the top's protected. That's fine, and there's nothing rested on the metal that's causing any problems, like electrical wires or whatever. And after that, I suppose we can get the boat blacked underneath and know that it's coated both sides and it's well protected. A thought for this side as well was to have a door fitted here to open up into the galley, which would separate that part of the boat to this part, you can get on with cooking and nothing's going to escape. Heat wise, I think it might be worth doing. So we're going to explore that option. I should have filmed this when it was connected, really. I am sorry. But the speaker cable saga that was connected to the lights under the fire via speaker wire is connected into this light switch. So what somebody's done is connected all of the neutrals in the earth base of this switch. So they use the one leg and tapped it into the main positive coming in, and then the neutral or negative is where the other part of the speaker wire was attached to. There we go, the joys of boat wiring. I don't know where that goes actually, I think it's stuck in the trim. I have to try and get that out somehow. But there we have it. That's where our speaker cable is connected to the old light system. Friday the 21st of July, and it's brick time again. I'll show you, I'll turn the camera around. So our daughter come yesterday and she gave me a hand, and we managed to get most of the bricks back on the boat. We've still got these left. I've run out of vinegar, so I've just put them in a bucket of vinegar this morning, hopefully to dry out over the next 48 hours. Yesterday's efforts, we got most of the bricks down, as I said. The paint was still a little bit wet in the last few areas, so I kind of focused on this section here. Reading into Ballasts today on the internet, I've found out that it's important to have ballast correctly laid out for turning points as well in the centre of the boat. So I'm going to follow that advice a little bit more. What I'm going to try and do is reconfigure it to how it was before. I've got all the footage and photos anyway of what it was like before as I lifted the floor up, so I can easily go back on that. And then with the listing, I'll just move some of the bricks over to sort the listing out and just make sure that that configuration is the same, so I'm not disrupting anything as such, because there were sections that were missing out here. I think there were 3, which is in and around the centre of the boat. So if that's important regarding its turning point, then I want to make sure that I haven't messed that up by overloading it with tons of bricks. So yeah, I've got all of the bricks down in, I'd say, the first half of the boat. Leaving that out obviously for the shower. I might fill a few more in closer to the time as I fit the shower. We've got what I did read this morning as well, and I'm going to phone the people that created this web post about ballast, because they were talking about using spacers underneath the ballast, so which I found quite interesting. So I'm going to look at, they were on about using tile spacers, large tile spacers. I don't know whether you've got to scatter them out and put the bricks on, but I'd say that the bricks would be unstable then. I really don't know at all. So what I'm going to do is contact them, and I may have to lift every brick out and put tile spacers underneath all of it, which is going to be an absolute pain in the bum, but I want to get it right. I'm going to attempt, if I can, to start stripping the galley. I cleaned some of it out yesterday. I'm going to clean a little bit more out, make sure it's spick and span, and start stripping out some of this woodwork. I've come back to this a vast amount of times now. I'm still a bit unsure what to do. Now I know for a fact that the flooring goes obviously all the way underneath the cupboards and underneath the calorifier. Now, if I fetch the steps out and all of that woodwork, I've got some makeshift steps at home that I can put in its place, so that'll sort that out. But what do I want to put back? So Chell was talking to me the other night, and she'd prefer to have a door here to separate the galley from the outside, which I think is a good idea. And if you've got wet clothing or dirty clothing, you can take all that off and do your stripping off in the back there and store them in the cupboards either to the left and right. Do we need anything appliance-wise in there? I don't know. I mean, the last time this boat was configured, if you can remember, there was a few cupboards and then a fridge and then a washing machine. So we're not going to go with the washing machine. We're fans of going to the laundrette anyway. We don't mind going to the laundrette. So we were going to get rid of the washing machine, have a fridge, and have our drawers still. So we don't know whether we want to move the fridge here, but it'll be on the other side of the door, which will do your heading, then opening that, or lose one of the cupboards and just have the fridge underneath there. Also, we've got a gas cooker at home which can be converted to LPG, fortunately, and all we'd need then is an engineer to help us do that and to get it on the boat. Once we've done that and connected it up, it's 600 millimeters wide. I need to check the height and the depth of, am I right in saying gunnel? Just to make sure that the hobs aren't too close to that area. You can see from the existing hobs, they were hot on that wood. They were very, very close. So do we swap out the cooker and just get a double hob unit that we can fit into the work surface and get an integrated cooker, which I've just smashed the unit off? And do we go that route, or can we put our existing cooker on here? It'd be nice to put our existing one on here because it saves money at the end of the day, doesn't it? And we're using our old things. What else is there to consider? We want a dinette. And we want a dinette to be fitted this side. On the port side, I believe that is. And that's going to come out then obviously to around this area here. But we also need walking space, and we need to take that chimney out. I don't know how difficult that's going to be. We'll soon see. There's a lot to consider, isn't there? That partition there, end of the galley, is solid. It's still connected to quite a lot of stuff, I think. This one's hanging on its last legs, which is typical, isn't it? I'd rather have that one being hanging on its last legs rather than this one, but there we go. So I'm going to strip out as much as I can of the kitchen today, or galley. This is more of a video for my family, people who follow me that I know, who are not let's say into narrowboating or know anything about it, and it's the gritty side of it, I suppose. It's all about the Elson point. I'll turn the video around and talk about it. Here it is. So most mooring spots along the canal that have got services like the Boatyard I'm at will have a big pump out service, and that's pumping out all of the poo. But this is the gritty side to narrowboating that people really don't see or dread and don't want to think about. But I thought I'd do a short video about it. So this is the Elson point at the Boatyard where I'm at. We had one Thetford cassette toilet, which we've now got rid of, apart from the cassette, which is still mostly full of waste, and some Elson blue, which is it's a nice smelling chemical, but it's a chemical that we've got to put in our waste system. And this is basically a cleaner for the tanks and stuff. So the Elson point like I say, is like a big loo. And there's a cap just on the end of this that you can unscrew and basically pour all the waste into the Elson point. There's a hose to wash out your Thetford cassette, and also a flush as well to flush it through. But you have to clean the facilities normally afterwards. With the cassette, usually there's a latch on it which locks it all up, makes it watertight, and that's pretty much it. So I've started on the galley flooring. I only took one section up in the middle, and I don't know whether it's the damp or whatever, but I'm like struggling with breathing. It's, man, I don't know, it's just like got to me or what, I don't know. But I put this mask on. I should have just put it on in the first place, to be honest, you know, but there we go. So the floor so far, here it is. It's just caked in rust. It's just, there's loads of it. I don't know whether there was a leak towards the back end as well. I don't know. But there's definitely a lot of rust there, and it needs treating. I don't want to just leave it. I'm going to start taking it off. At least I know then, in my mind, I've tried the best I could to protect the steel. Hopefully increase the lifespan of the steel as well, you know, because if it was rusting from the top and the bottom, it would eventually just, well, go away into nothing, I'd say. But I mean, some of these boats have lasted years on the water, so I don't see why this one can't. But I'm just trying to protect its life, its little life on the water. And well, it's our boat at the end of the day. We just want to take pride in what we're doing on it. Squirrel stove hasn't moved yet. We're going to have to move that at some point. By God, that's heavy. So there we go. I've started the galley floor. I was really nervous about this, because I don't want to mess it up really. But I'm going to start cutting it in small sections, I think, with the multi-tool that I got over there, which is doing a grand job. Okay, that's me done for today now. Oh, take my mask off. Better. That's me done for today. It didn't quite go to plan. I was hoping to try and keep these, or that end of galley bulkhead in, but the floor just wasn't coming up at all, so I cut round it in all ways, shapes and forms, and I just got fed up with it in the end. So I just took the board out, and I just cut the corner where the gas pipe was going through. So I've cut that out safely, so I've not knocked the gas pipe about. But yeah, I've got two more sections of the flooring up, so that's a good start. I couldn't get off the boat. It was really getting on my nerves, and I was like, I want to get most of it done. So I ended up staying behind another, it took me 30 minutes just to get that up now. I've got that small section to get up, but anyway, that's more like it. I'm happy. Right, I'm definitely going now. Ta-ra for a bit.